Good morning once again and welcome to the Twitter Jabs 2, and here we're actually going to discuss and take the conversation further in regard to the fate of the Democratic Party, and like we mentioned earlier in the Twitter Jabs 1, after a cooperation agreement that was signed by His Excellency H.E Museveni as for the NRM party, and on this side we did see Honorable Nobert Mao signing on behalf of the Democratic Party. Now about 48 hours later or even less, he was appointed as the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. Now that has caused a lot of havoc in the Democratic Party, and they said, you know what, we are denouncing you as our president. And for him, he's saying, I'm still the president of the Democratic Party much as I'm also the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs in Uganda. So we'll be having that discussion, and joining me this morning is Mr. Mukasa Juma, and that is the Democratic Party Secretary General of Entebbe constituency. Good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us this morning. Good morning, madam. For starters, as a member of the Democratic Party, what is your opinion about your president of the Democratic Party, Honorable Nobert Mao, being appointed as the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs and also signing a cooperation agreement with the NRM party?
First and foremost, I wish to greet our viewers and thank them for viewing us. But my opinion, as you asked, my opinion, one, I want to congratulate Honorable Nobert Mao upon the appointment. And I wish to say that we, as a Democratic Party, were not consulted. And his appointment and his continued stay in office as the President of the Democratic Party is a disappointment to us, the membership of the Democratic Party. Ordinarily, I would like to view this as clinging on to power, even when the society and the morals say, please, you must resign and let the party move. So my opinion is a congratulation and a disappointment. Yeah.
You actually say that as a Democratic Party you were not consulted on this move, to sign a cooperation agreement with the NRM party, but we did see the Secretary General of the Democratic Party, and that is Gerald Siranda, was actually part of that, cooperation agreement signing.
True, because as per the hierarchy of the Democratic Party Constitution and the party organs, the President General is the Chief Executive, and then the Secretary General is the accounting officer, I should say, for the party. Therefore, for both of them to be signatories to the agreement, it shows a way that we accepted, because the principles of the party signed. But because even when it was an individual arrangement, it was not an institutional arrangement, as far as I'm concerned. And ordinarily, as far as the morals are concerned, it was an individual arrangement, which we might term as selfish, but it was not an institutional arrangement.
Okay. Now, let's look at the moment, what is the Democratic Party structure like? Is Honorable Nobert Mao still your president? Because rumors are that Bukoto Central Member of Parliament, Honorable Richard Sewamala, is now the new Democratic Party president. Is that true?
Ordinarily, as per our constitution, he's still the President General of the DP. But we need to think, to what extent does do these actions, affect the party? I cannot say that Honorable Sewamala is the President General, because we've not sat anywhere and we've not decided on that. However, in an abnormal situation, everything becomes abnormal. His declaration to be the President General, the acting President General, was out of the situation that we are in right now. But as far as the Constitution is concerned, Mao is still the President General. However, the legalities and technicalities, good enough is the Constitution and Justice Minister. And for his pedigree, he's a lawyer. He's a lawyer who has practiced this profession. So he might be thinking of what the repercussions would be. Because now, as far as the Ugandan Constitution is concerned, you cannot be on both sides. You are either government or the other side of the government. Now, how can you sit on the government and then you're opposition?
Yes.
Really, it is because the essence of the opposition is to guide, to see where the government has gone wrong. That's why you're opposing the policies of the government, especially when they are against the society thinking. So really, you can't be the president general of the oldest party in Uganda, the second oldest in Africa. I mean, a historical pattern, then you become both government and opposition. You can't be that.
Honorable Mao, in his words, he says that he actually signed this cooperation agreement on behalf of the Democratic Party, and he says he's not actually part of the NRM, he's still part of the Democratic Party. But you are actually saying that, you see, you cannot be on the NRM side and you're on the DP side. So how do you ascertain that he's actually on the NRM side? Because he hasn't said that.
Because he has gone to join the party, the government which is in power, and we are opposing. True, he signed the cooperation on behalf of the party. But when you want to commit to the party, consult. Get the consensus of the party members. It is, this Democratic Party has been in place for 6 to 7 years. I mean, we have forefathers. I mean, we are distorting history by this act. We are distorting history. We are proud of Democratic Party because of its history. You might agree with me that, for example, on all parties, in as far as Parliament is concerned, you will find that all of them have members with the historical background of the Democratic Party. When you look at the opposition, and the biggest opposition party now, the National Unity Platform, when you look at its members of Parliament, you will find that 70% of them have the DNA of the Democratic Party. And you remember the DP bloc.
Yeah.
It was a result of the parties that had the DNA of the Democratic Party. So you will find Democratic Party everywhere, anywhere, in as far as the political leadership of Uganda is concerned.
What does this say about the Democratic Party? Does it mean that you're not solid as a party? Because we do see that there were actually factions back in the day. We also did see some members defecting from the Democratic Party, joining NUP, others joining the FDC. And, Honorable Nobert Mao, being the president, said, you see, these are hypocrites. And he actually did come on to say that I'd rather actually work with NRM than the opposition hypocrites. That is what he said. But what does it say about the Democratic Party and the fact that your president signed without your consent?
You see, whoever crossed from the Democratic Party had disagreed with Honorable Nobert Mao. For us who stayed in the party, we were patient with him. We went to the delegates' conferences, we went to the meetings. We were saying, okay, for him is alone. He has been in the holding the mantle of the party for now 10 years. We are going to 15 years by 2026. But this party has been in existence for 6 to 7 years as of now. So he will go. We were believing that he will go, and some other person, the better person, probably better than him, will come. Just like we saw Honorable Dr. Paul Kanga Somogereri, we saw Honorable John Sabana Chizito, and we thought that he will go. But now he's going, but he's not leaving our party behind. He's going with it, which is wrong. You see, and those who defected from the party, I mean, most probably disagreed with his policies, his utterances, the treatment. And we are only patient. For us who remained into the party, we are just patient and waiting for the day when he will go. I mean, if, for example, today he resigns as the party president, we shall jubilate. And this is our appeal to him, that please, Honorable Nobert Mao, with due regard to your knowledge and integrity and pedigree as far as politics of Uganda is concerned, please let the party move, resign, and we move on. Yes.
Does this say that maybe it's a blessing in disguise for the Democratic Party, because you mentioned that you couldn't wait for him, to leave. You knew these things were happening in the Democratic Party. Some people were not comfortable with his policies and with his leadership. So does it come as a blessing in disguise for you?
in one or the other is a blessing in this case, that he has gone. But remember his utterances that I am not leaving the party position as the party president. So we are looking at a scenario where we're going to tussle it in court. And of course, DP has been in court for so many good reasons. But now we are going there for, I mean, we've always opposed ourselves to the DP and the Dembale Delegates Conference, the Katomi Delegates Conference. Even now, we are going to be to court. But why now? Why this? I mean, morally, why would we go to court? Because Mao is a breed of Democratic Party. He's a breed of Democratic Party. And now, really, it is disappointing, actually. But why would we go to court? Otherwise, I mean, actually, that is the next step. I mean, I've heard from our deputy legal advisor, Honorable Dumu, that they are going to summon the NEC and probably the National Council, which shall summon the Delegates Conference too. Because if all these processes were done, you see, we are disagreeing with the president, but the president of Uganda. But sometimes, even when something is wrong, he tries to follow the procedures, and then when you disown him, but he has the legalities. The legalities are in his side. But now, National Council was not summoned, NEC was not summoned, National Delegates Conference, which is the topmost party organ.
Yes.
To make such a binding decision.
Yes.
Really, it would have been someone.
Okay, before we proceed with the interview, we'd love to, actually show you a video. And that was last week on Friday, after Nobert Mao was actually appointed as the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. And what he had to say in regard to him still being, part of the Democratic Party and the President General of the Democratic Party, despite the members of the Democratic Party actually denouncing him. Let's take a look.
President Museveni on Thursday appointed the leader of the opposition Democratic Party, Nobert Mao, as Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, in a reshuffle that saw many ministers being appointed in a mini reshuffle. The next day, Mao was approved by Parliament. The two eventful days came after a historic meeting at the State House, Nakasero, where Museveni, as chairman of the ruling NRM, signed a cooperation agreement with Mao and DP's Secretary General Gerald Siranda. Most political commentators said the opposition is likely to weaken, while others, mainly opposition-leaning, said Mao had for a long time been a suspicious opposition politician. Mukono North Member of Parliament, Abdallah Chiwanuka, a member of the Opposition National Unity Platform, says Museveni and NRM are wasting time to believe that buying support from the opposition will weaken them. He says Ugandans do not oppose Museveni as a hobby, but because his government has for more than 30 years failed to deliver on his promises. He says defections cannot make Ugandans happy because they will always get leaders who are ready to demand and end corruption, social, political, and economic justice, human rights abuses, among other vices.
The big question which I can ask Mr. Mao, we have always been advocating for these reasons. Is there still corruption or it is no more? Is there still thuggery in elections or it is no more? Is there still insecurity in the country or no more? The operations of institutions in this country have always been frustrated by Mr. Museveni himself. He has frustrated the operations of courts, judiciary. He's always influencing judges to fail to work, honestly.
Mao yesterday insisted that he will continue serving as DP president as well as the cabinet minister.
Voices calling for me to step aside. I think the reason is not the cooperation of agreement. The reason would have been, for instance, if members said you will be too busy. I think that one I would listen to it because it would be reasonable. But the venomous outbursts that I had definitely shows that many of our members have not yet internalized the implications of this cooperation agreement.
But Wuyukwe South Member of Parliament, a DP supporter, says by accepting to serve Museveni, Mao has disqualified himself as a DP leader.
President, By the mere fact that he has crossed the line, it leaves a vacancy and it is us to fill it. And there is no problem about that. We don't have friction over that. You cross the line, you have gone, we have got a vacancy, we fill it.
Baiga says he's only worried that some Ugandans have started believing that most political party leaders in Uganda are only after government jobs, which perception is not true.
That people may think that party leaders are there just to manufacture jobs for themselves, and that it spells doom. But in our situation, it has been such that we have been making observation that the person who has crossed to NRM has been putting his knee on our neck. Therefore, his going is good riddance. Okay? So we wish him well while he's transacting his business in NRM, but at the same time, it should not be an obstacle for the Democratic Party to proceed.
Tony Patira Humza, reporting for CTV PM edition.
That is Honorable Nobert Mao, and he's actually still the President General of the Democratic Party, and he says he won't be standing down anytime soon. And he also did highlight or say that it cannot be the cooperation agreement that could have led, the DP members to actually denounce him. Maybe if they could say that now that he has taken on another position as the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, then he will actually be a busy person, and he may not be able to oversee, the Democratic Party and also work as the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. But I would still like to know from you, Mr. Juma, what could be the other reasons why the Democratic Party is denouncing Honorable Nobert Mao? Because clearly he cannot take the fact that you're denouncing him because of a cooperation agreement.
The only reason is betrayal. He has betrayed the party by this act. It should be on record that for us who remained in the party, we were patient with him. Patient, waiting for the day, and that probably he will hand over power. That just like it was done to him. So the other reason, even if, as he said, that he will be too busy, okay, let us take that. But can you serve two masters at a go? You cannot, really. So you've betrayed the cause of the foundation for this oldest party, historical party. And then you'll be too busy, truly. They are too busy because now you'll have the constitutional, because our justice system has a lot of issues. The bench is not well composed. People are rotting in jail. People are rotting police detentions. I mean, the electoral processes are always not understood. I mean, the political atmosphere is not all that good. So now, because his recruitment by the government or by His Excellency the President, thought that this being eloquent, intelligent, very good. I mean, he negotiated with Kony, which somehow brought peace to northern Uganda. He will use that experience to try and guide government, because government, as for us who oppose it, is in disarray, and people are seeing it as if it is very disappointing.
Yes. And
has nothing to offer to Ugandans. But he's now bringing into his fold an intelligent person who he thinks, in our opinion, that he will help him rule further Uganda. But now, please let him do that. And we know he can, if given chance. But let the party also, if, for example, we take power as we think and as we are aiming at taking power of this country as the Democratic Party, we shall still welcome him because he's our child. But now let us, the party, do its work. Let him not cling onto power in our party.
Let's talk about what is left of the Democratic Party at the moment, because now your President General, Honorable Nobert Mao, you've clearly denounced him, and much as he might still want to cling on to the position of the President of the Democratic Party, maybe it might not work out for him. He might eventually, the pressure might actually eventually force him to resign. But we also do see the Secretary General of the Democratic Party, and that is Gerald Siranda, who also was part of the signing of the cooperation agreement, right now is AWOL. So what is left? Because we are looking at two topmost leaders in the Democratic Party, you know.
Now, those are all principles. When we have a President General, we shall still look into the issues of the Secretary General of the party. We shall look into that. But of course, what we need to do is to first get ahead. Now our party has a deformed head. So let us first operate the head, make a surgery, and then put it right, and then we'll look at other parts of the body.
How possible is that? Because he was also part of this agreement signing, and doesn't it look like, because most of you, okay, I'm sorry that I said most of you, but most of the Democratic Party members and also their members of parliament are literally aiming at Nobert Mao, and they're leaving out the Secretary General. There's no one actually talking about him and, you know, why he had to be a part of this agreement signing. What does that speak, you know, of?
When you see my body, you first look at the face, at the head. So when my head is deformed, probably you would think that all other parts are deformed. But when my head is right, you will also think that, okay, everything is right. Therefore, now our head was by accident deformed. We are trying to make a surgery on it. So when we put right our head, then other parts will be. And in that sense, when we correct the mistake of the President General, when he's out of office, when he has resigned, we only pray that he resigns. Let us not push him away from the party. We only pray that he...
You still want him to be a part of the Democratic Party?
He can be part when he's not in government. He can be part in spirit when he's in government. Because I've told you that when you look at the leadership of the country, you'll find that 70% of the leaders in Uganda were a part of the party. Look at any party, just name it, any party in Uganda. They all say that. Even the Fountain of Honor, the Commander-in-Chief says that I was part of the Democratic Party. Therefore, when the party president, when the leader, the head is sorted, also others will be sorted. Probably it will lead a disciplinary action of the Secretary General of committing the party when without due authority. Of course, there is that management committee that they formed, which does the day-to-day running of the party activities. But it cannot commit the party.
Okay, what does the Constitution of the Democratic Party say about its topmost leadership? And we are looking at the president. In the event, like at the moment, where you've discarded him literally out of the Democratic Party, what does it say about, you know, the new, what elections will be happening, how you are going, you know, to find another party leader?
Our Constitution, and especially from Part 1, which says the national organs. We have the organs of the party. We have the National Delegates Conference. And the composition is the members of the National Council, the district women leaders and deputy district women leaders, the youth leaders and the deputy, and 5 delegates from each parliamentary constituency in Uganda. So it is a very comprehensive organ of the party. And its function is to, being the topmost organ, shall deal with all matters affecting the party in the country. In the country. This is a matter that will affect the party.
It definitely will.
So, if the National Delegates Conference was not summoned, then the legality. Then we have the National Council. The National Council has the members of the Parliament, the members of the National Executive Committee, and all the district chairpersons of the Democratic Party executives. So now you look at that composition. Okay, if NEC was not summoned and consulted, if at least the National Council would have been summoned. But now, we are still awaiting for the guidance of our National Legal Advisor, who is Honorable Nalukora. They are trying to look on the way, because now, in such a circumstance, we need to urge the party national chairman, Dr. Mayambala, who we think was also part of the deal somehow. And of course, we shall not have, we think that we shall not have the vacuum. Very soon, I'm reliably informed that they are going to summon the NEC. Good enough, the National Legal Advisor is against the position, but really, how do you sign an agreement when you have the National Legal Advisor? People give an example of the UPC, where we have Honorable Betty Among in government. But, okay, just like we saw Honorable Nachuala went to government. But then, the outbursts of the Honorable Nobert Mao against the government, that how do you call a person to your position, to your government, without consulting us?
Don't you think that that is the problem now? It's not actually a problem of Nobert Mao as an individual. It's the problem of the Democratic Party, because why would he not consult you? Is it because he felt he would, meet some kind of resistance? Because you actually mentioned that it was long overdue for him to leave the party, just like every other member of parliament from the Democratic Party has been mentioning.
No, whatever, if they went against his position, let him drop the position and then go. Resign and go. You like it, okay, thank you. But you don't like it, go. Leave our party behind. But putting us all in a luggage to State House where the Entebbe Nakasero, it was very unfortunate. So, just like, because we've seen people going to government.
Yes.
We've seen the late Honorable Justice Mlenga went to government, but he consulted the party, and the party blessed him. So now, it would be okay if he consulted, people disagreed with him, and okay, you've disagreed with me, but I want the position. Please, take your party, let me go. We wish him well. Just like we are wishing him well in his position as the Constitutional Affairs Minister. So, I mean, that wouldn't be a problem. Because even others have gone, but the party has stayed. How do you take the party to government?
Okay. Now, for a party that was incepted in 1954, that's a long time ago, and how will you be able to withstand? Do you think that the Democratic Party will be able to withstand, the storm? Because it looks like there is a storm coming for the Democratic Party.
Indeed. And a person would ask, how has it survived for 7 years? Because we've had turmoil in Uganda. When you look at our constitution, I mean, it stipulates the tyranny and turmoil, and it's been our history. So it is not the first time that this thing has happened. We have survived a lot of storms, even when I was not born. Our forefathers, as far as the party is concerned, have withstood the storms. For example, in 1964, the leader of opposition crossed to the government, that was UPC. I mean, it was DP, and almost all of them went to government. Honorable Basilva Taringaya went to government. But still, when you have a composition, for example, now, if, for example, Honorable Mpuga crosses to government, and out of the 50 plus members of parliament on the National Unity Platform ticket, 80% goes to government. If it withstands that, then it will be good to go. Now, historically, we have had such. And recently, we had more than 10 members of parliament, but because of the political wave that came around, we now have 9. A person would think that after the emergence of Honorable Chagulanyi, and then the emergence of national unity platform, probably DP wouldn't be normal, would be normal. Just because the architects of national unity platform, the architects of people power,
Yes.
all those are DP, So, but we withstood that, and then we fortunately came up with 9 members of parliament. We are in parliament now.
But I thought that, you know, the Democratic Party is actually a big party, honestly, and you are vying for the position, you know, of president. You want, you know, to have a president of this country to be from the Democratic Party. You want to take over leadership of this country, for the government of this country to be led by the Democratic Party. So when you say that we can actually withstand the storm, we've seen, you know, other members of parliament defect to other parties, and then, you know, every other day, the number of members of parliament from the Democratic Party keep on reducing. So doesn't that answer the question of do we actually have a serious opposition in this country? Because, you know, what's on the streets are actually the opposition is non-existent, because it looks like it's unserious about, you know, its goals.
You see, for those who are in the positions of power are the ones that disappoint the locals, the first person on those lower people. But the opposition, because we look at a country where we have a reasonable living. But those who go to parliament, go to government, don't think about them. But I want to tell you that for those who are in opposition, there are those who are very serious, and there are those who are not serious. We cannot blame those who portray themselves as serious and they just disappoint. And we cannot just sit back and say, okay, let things move as they are. No, our voices must be heard. And we cannot all speak. There are those who must speak on our behalf. And they have done so, only some to disappoint the people. So a disappointment cannot be blamed on any person. It can be blamed on me, for example. Literally, it is me, it is myself that has disappointed. But the people see you and trust you with this leadership, because people understand and people see us as, okay, now Mukasa Juma is the best person to lead us through, or to foster our aspirations of seeing a better Uganda. But now, when I reach there, I disappoint. Now that is the challenge. So when we look at the Democratic Party as of now, people see us as hypocrites. Just like Honorable Nobert Mao termed some members as hypocrites. Now, who is more hypocrite? If there is another word for better than hypocrite, who is more hypocrite now?
And speaking of that, word has it that some members of the Democratic Party now want to cross to other, you know, opposition parties, NUP and the Forum for Democratic Change, because it looks like for the DP now, they've come to the end of the road.
No, it is not the time to cross, because the moment you cross now, you'll be going for by-election. Because the Constitution says that you must cross in the 4th year of your term of office. So when you cross now, you're up for a by-election. But really, even if there is storm in our house, the Democratic Party, let us not just go away, because we need to put it right. We need to calm the storm. We need to correct the mistakes done by those in positions of power in as far as the Democratic Party is concerned. And I urge the membership of the DP countrywide, let us not stop believing in because the Democratic Party has the cause that would think a better country will have. So this is just part of those times where you see a hard life, but we shall go through it.
But it looks like it has been a hard life for a long time now.
Even then, but there was a time that we had a good life. For example, the 1996 general elections had a good time under the leadership of Honorable P.K. Samogeredi. We had a good time. We were the biggest party. We had the best candidate. Just because times have come to change. And even then, being in existence for 67 years is not easy. So this shouldn't be the time to say, because Democratic Party, as we are known, we are brain power. We are the brain power of this country. And that is our, if you can easily describe us, you can describe us by being the brain power.
So do you think it's still possible for the Democratic Party to actually take on the leadership of this country?
Very, very much possible. Very, very much possible.
How is that? What plans are in place, with the tragedy that befell you last week? I'm talking about, Honorable Nobert Mao now, signing a cooperation agreement with NRM and appointed the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. What plans are in place, to bring back the structure of the Democratic Party, if I should put it that way? And maybe, just like you said, you still have hope, to take on leadership of this country. How is that going to be possible?
One, we need to reorganize ourselves such that the House is back to stability, to probably stability and sanity. And after reorganizing ourselves, we have to create confidence into our people that the other one was a person and this is a party. So that is the most important factor and thing that we are going to look at now. That we need to reorganize our House, reorganizing in a way that we put right the party organs and structures, such that people will trust us again. Yeah, that's what we think about. We think about now.
Okay, we hope that comes into effect. But as a representative of the Democratic Party members in Entebbe, what are they saying about this?
Just like I said in the morning, in the beginning, they were disappointed. They're all disappointed. For us who was staunch DP, who remained in the Democratic Party amid these old storms, I mean, we are seen as hypocrites. But we are telling them, we are telling the people of Entebbe and Uganda at large, that we shall remain the Democratic Party. We shall remain the Democratic Party, and we believe our consistency will exonerate us of the bad history. Really, we are creating a very, very bad history for our children to see that once the Democratic Party joined the government, it was committed by its party leader, which is very, very disheartening.
Okay, we'd love to actually get your final remarks in regard to, the fate of the Democratic Party, and once again reassure Ugandans that, what, the Democratic Party is actually still standing.
Our people, this is the time, also the Democratic Party membership, this is the time that we come together. This is the time that we put our differences, ideological differences together, aside, and we see how best can we take back our party to its original position. We call upon for all of those who had gone because of some disagreements with the party leadership, please let's come back together, let's sit on the table and we see. I urge the members of the National Executive Committee to very soon sit, harmonize the positions. Let us ultimately summon the National Delegates Conference, because the National Delegates Conference membership and constitution, we know we have it, and I know after that we shall have a better party. And I want to assure Ugandans that the Democratic Party is the only party after this that you'll see having a very, very good leadership. We know we are all disappointed, but the disappointment is not long-lasting. We can put it right now. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Juma, for joining us this morning and for that insight.
Well,
that has been Mr. Mukasa Juma, and he's the Democratic Party Secretary for Entebbe constituency, and he has been weighing in regard to the fate of the Democratic Party, how they actually plan on, restructuring the Democratic Party and seeing that they move forward now that we see their President General, Honorable Nobert Mao. They have denounced him already, and also much as he says he is still the President General and he's not about to step down, we will actually be seeing what happens in the next future. But here at CTV, we'll definitely be bringing to you, all the information and everything that transpires in regard to the fate of the Democratic Party. That and more will be coming up at, a later point in time. But coming up right now is our views, and we are discussing self-respect. That is all we had for you on the segment. Keep watching Sunrise at Sea, and don't blink.